This time on Whatever We Want, we talk about.
What if, episode 3, what if the world lost its mightiest heroes?
Yeah.
Huge, major, big spoilers ahead.
Big boy spoilers.
Time codes down in the description if you want to jump around. We talk everything from the Incredible Hulk references all the way back to 2008, the comics this was based on, Loki as a ruler in the future, possibly tie-ins to more What If or the future of the MCU, Betty Ross coming back, and voice actors and more. Enjoy! PreBanter. Daniel, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, my guy.
Yeah, you said you're in VR.
Got 2 days off of work now. Well, yeah, I've been doing dev work in VR, but today and tomorrow I have off of normal work, so I'm just
right.
Yes, I get to code. Oh, yes, I get to sleep in.
That's good. I'm just really excited to talk about this.
I feel like we're in Fury's big week, you know?
I know.
There's so many things being announced.
I just want to say before we jump into things, we're going to be focusing on TikTok and YouTube Shorts potentially, so check stuff out there. And I just want to really grow this thing, so if you have any suggestions or anything, let me know and keep an eye out because I'm excited for where the podcast is going. Thank you all to watching, listening.
Yeah, give us a watch, give us a listen.
Yeah.
Give us everything.
We're going to be doing another episode very shortly, either before or after this, on all the trailers that came out. Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, the Star Wars Visions trailer, the Shang-Chi trailer, which I know is out in some places, and the Eternals trailer. The first two, we're just going to be posting everywhere, but the other two are going to be exclusive just to Patreon, so keep an eye out for that. Consider supporting us on Patreon. It'll be every tier, but that'll be another episode. Yeah. Ready for the introduction? Let's talk about What If.
Yes.
You may want us to talk about this or that, but we don't care. We're going to talk about whatever we want. Welcome back to Whatever We Want, the podcast where we, Jake and Daniel, two devilishly handsome gentlemen, talk about movies, TV shows, giving behind-the-scenes insights, filmmaking techniques, all that jazz, and more. What are we talking about this week, Daniel?
We're talking about What If.
What do you got crinkling there?
Okay, I was trying to get some candy quick. You did super quickly.
I'm just too quick on the intro. We're talking about episode 3. What if the world lost its mightiest heroes?
Now, I'll get into it later, but this is a very nice way that they're doing it because I feel like it's going to be an extension to the next episode. So technically, the What If is.
Oh, do you think they're going to all
different.
become zombies in Marvel Zombies?
Wait, is that the next one? I thought this.
I don't know.
Is this the same one as Loki taking over Earth?
Yeah, I think so. Or is that not? You think the next one's going to explore that option more?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I thought Loki taking over Earth was a different episode. So
I don't know.
It's going to then be a continuation off of this one.
Maybe, but also I just thought literally all the heroes are dead. Could they then come back to be zombies? I don't know.
They could be.
But anyways, let's get into our famous segment, Dialogue Duty, where we talk about all the voice actors that are jumping in. I actually found a sound clip of another friend's sound clip because remember for Roswell we had Ross saying something. I found one of Chandler saying duty. So for the first time in a long time, sound clip.
And then it was really hard to sidestep that duty thing.
Yeah, bam, you played it. So Jeffrey Wright's back as the Watcher. Samuel L. Jackson is back. Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye. Mark Ruffalo. Which I thought was interesting seeing his character with Betty Ross because he's never had a Betty Ross in the MCU, but we'll talk about that later. Tom Hiddleston, Clark Gregg as Coulson. It was good to hear him again. Jamie Alexander, who plays Lady Sif, she was back. And then we had the guy that played Rumlow in Crossbones, Frank Grillo, was back.
Yep.
Lake Bell played the new Black Widow, and I thought she did a good job. I honestly didn't really it didn't take me out of it too much. And then we had Mick Wingert as Stark, and for the 2 seconds he was in it, I was like, this isn't taking me out of it. He seems pretty good. Yeah. But yeah, then I was before he died, I was like, oh, this isn't too bad. I'm gonna get used to this. And then he died. I was like, well, I don't have time to get used to this. Okay. So Liv Tyler did not reprise her role as Betty Ross. It was Stephanie. I can't even read my own handwriting. Stephanie P. something. I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah. Also, so General Ross was not William Hurt. He did not come back. It was Mike McGill. And then at the end, we got this wasn't announced at the very beginning with all the title sequences, but Michael Douglas came back as Hank Pym. I loved his character in this. And then
it was great.
We had Captain Marvel, who was not Brie Larson. It was Alexandra Daniels. But that was the up top dialogue duty. Ka-chow. I don't know.
That's how you exit that? Just
That's how you know we're out of dialogue duty, I guess, apparently. But yeah, so like you mentioned, you said Fury's Big Week, right? That's a comic. Can you tell me just a little about that this was kind of seemed to be loosely based on?
So pretty much what this is going over is in 1 week, Fury has to go through all these events. And that's one thing I love about this episode. It literally breaks it down like day by day.
Yeah, I love the big title sequences like Monday. It reminded me a lot of Civil War.
I love how it started off like that. So it's like, oh man, I hate Mondays.
I hate Mondays. Tony Stark dies. Yeah, but yeah, so like you were saying, like Hulk, the events of Hulk, Iron Man 2, and Thor all happened within 1 week. And like this is a comic that came out before this came out. Like it was a prelude to the Avengers, so that was showing that yes, in MCU this actually all happened in 1 week. Well, that's a crazy week. And then it's also a crazier week if instead of all those events happening, all those heroes just died. Like the title sequences, they reminded me of Civil War a lot with what the Russo brothers did with like Cleveland and and like Berlin.
Why is that you could have like start off and saying like Berlin.
It's because
you literally
they're from Cleveland. They're from Cleveland, which is why they said a lot of stuff in there. So I like that, and that sticks out. And Cleveland, it's funnier than Berlin. Like you think of that, but Cleveland. So the very beginning, Stark like dies. I love just this whole aspect of it. It was like a murder mystery. Like they didn't let you know who was
like things started to develop, and you can kind of get a better idea of like who it could have been. I had a feeling it was
done it.
I had a feeling it was going to go down to like once Hulk died. I'm like, oh, it's Ant-Man.
Really?
Literally, it's the same thing. We know. Like, we had the
Thanos coming up his
the theory.
Thanos,
exactly. The Thanos
going up Thanos'
theory.
butt.
So
at least now we know what would happen.
Exactly. It would work.
Oh my gosh. Well,
so
yeah, he like went in and threw the disc at his heart, that was pretty like traumatizing. It was intense. But yeah, we'll get there. I loved the next day after Tony Stark died. Like we get to Tuesday, and the Hawkeye's talking to Fury, and he's like, no one can lift it, not even Jackson, and he does CrossFit. Like I actually laughed out loud when he said that, because my roommate from college did CrossFit, and like he was never like big like bragging about it, but like I knew some people that were like that.
Wasn't Jackson the big guy that like
maybe
Thor, that like they were like tore through the wall and they're like in the mud?
Yeah.
Wasn't that Jackson?
Maybe. That's a CrossFit kind of move to like using your body weight, no weight, you're just using another man. Yeah. But yeah, so then Clint shot Thor and killed him like that. I like didn't know what really going into this episode like what it was gonna be, and I kind of liked that. Like I thought it was just like Loki takes over Earth because of that screenshot we've seen, but and let that happen. Like this was so cool in its own right. Like I don't know. I thought it was cool. So then the next day, Wednesday, we get to Betty Ross and Widow interacting, which I thought was funny because it's like two of Banner's love interests throughout the history of the MCU. But also, did you notice the pizza parlor, Stanley's pizza parlor that she looked at?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what that was?
Wasn't that when, like, Bruce, when, like, in the original Hulk movie?
Yeah, in Edward Norton's Incredible Hulk.
Like, he put that on as a disguise.
Well, no, I don't think he put it... Oh, he might have, actually. I remember he put some pizza thing on, and, like, Lou, the original Hulk from the TV show, like, the big bodybuilder, was, like, the security guard that let him in. But, yeah, that was the pizza parlor from the original, like, the 2008's Incredible Hulk. I thought it was interesting how many references they had to the 2008 Incredible Hulk. Also, the guy that plays Stanley, well, first off, it could be like a connection to Stan Lee, but the guy that plays Stanley in the 2008 Incredible Hulk, he voiced Spider-Man in the 1966 Hulk animated show. So I thought that was interesting.
Oh, yeah, it is interesting.
The only reason I know that is because I was making a TikTok about it today, and like Prime Video has like this trivia when you're like you're watching it, and so I was like watching it. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I'll mention that, I guess. That's the only reason I know that. I don't know that, just random fact. Yeah, I thought that like Stanley connection. Like if you go back, it's like the same brand, same like restaurant, and that's where like Banner and Betty would like go. That was like their spot kind of thing. So
yeah,
I thought that was cool. They brought that back all the way from back when the pizza parlor.
So that was what, Wednesday?
That was
now
Wednesday.
We're on Thursday.
Well, no, we're still on Wednesday.
Oh, that's right. Wednesday was a busy day. Yeah.
Monday was like Tony Stark died and that was it. Like, I mean, that was it. But But Wednesday, like, yeah. So the next thing that happens on Wednesday, it cuts back to Thor, and I love that Coulson. First off, I love that Coulson goes on his own coffee run. Like Fury calls him, he's like, "Where are you at?" And Coulson's like, "Coffee run." Just because you don't make an intern do it. You know, the interns are there to learn about Shield and like national security, not to memorize your coffee order. I'm speaking from a little bit of experience from recent events, but yeah, just
I
let's
wonder.
move on. Yeah, so then as he's doing the coffee run, thank you, Coulson. Because imagine, you shouldn't have interns do coffee runs because, say, as an Asgardian alien comes down to Earth next to you. Like, that's a liability. If it's you doing it, like, that's fine. But, like, an intern, a lot of paperwork.
I feel like there's a lot of paperwork either way, but I get what you mean. Like, Coulson people chuck through that pretty quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, and also, well, let's say, hold on, just continuing this thread. Let's say that it was an intern who was supposed to be learning about national security and how to deal with situations like this, but he's always out getting coffee. He can't deal with that. If he was like,
so he's just there freaking out.
Yeah, he's just like, I only know how to do coffee. What coffee order do you want, Loki?
Loki comes down
like a soy chai
decaf?
latte. All right, let's back to the tank because this got a little too close to home. Anyways, Loki's on Earth. Yeah, and so then it cuts back to Hulk and the army trying to stop Hulk, which is the same spot as Incredible Hulk, like that greenhouse. Like,
yeah, I love how they like did like magic shot for shot. Like, with the hallway and then like oh man, it was great.
Yeah. But yeah, then like Hank Pym like goes through him and like shoots him and turns him into the Hulk.
Instead of going up the butt, he shoots himself, which makes more sense.
Yeah, and then he hits his heart with the bigify thing. I don't know. But yeah, sorry, it cuts back and forth a lot between Loki and Hulk here. But what are your thoughts on Loki coming to Earth? Do you think it's like, I feel like there could be a variety of different things. Like, do you think it's because he's using it as an excuse? Like, oh my gosh, look, the Earth's people killed Loki or killed Thor. It's now time. He's using that as a way to like rally Asgard's army behind him as an excuse to invade because that's his ultimate goal.
Oh, definitely.
Or do you think it's like he's actually sad that Thor, because we know Loki does sort of have a soft spot for Thor, but maybe not at this point in time. So like, do you think it could be like Thor, like he's upset that Thor's actually dead? And
it's both, right. But I feel like in this case it's more him using it as leverage.
Right. Got it.
Yeah.
I think that's smart and makes sense of him. Like he would do that. Also, now Thor, you're like worse probably in your mind at this point because you don't really know about Hulk and other things. Thor, you're like only person standing in your way is now dead. So like, well, there's a great opportunity to like jump down and Odin's in the Odin sleep, so nothing's really stopping him now.
Yeah, that brings up a good point because if Odin's in the Odin sleep, right? Like, who's now also going to rule Asgard? Like
Loki.
Is he doing both from Earth, or is he like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Maybe this is his like initiation. Like I will take over Earth for Asgard as like my first, I don't know, step in ruling Asgard, like to prove my worth to the people or something.
Yeah, I can see that.
Maybe that's how he's explaining it. Maybe that's how he's explaining it to people so that they'll get behind him. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hulk blows up. We see that.
Yeah.
Loki gives Fury a time frame, and it really then feels like a murder mystery. And like Black Widow's into like exploring. Also Clint died. I forgot to mention that happened a while ago, but like, you know, Hawkeye.
It happened right after Thor because like he went into the interrogation room all small, and he was like, "Oh, let me just, you know."
Yeah. So I love Coulson's password, like the Steve, I love Steve.
I was gonna say Steve, I love Steve heart.
Yeah, that was funny. Oh, Coulson. Also, I feel like this episode just shows how freaking OP like Ant-Man could be. Like,
yeah,
Michael Douglas just like killed all the Avengers. Like, and I feel like that makes sense. I saw a video, but like in the past, like in the 60s through the present day, like whenever Hank Pym was young and like a soldier, I feel like S.H.I.E.L.D. used Hank Pym to kind of like go on these missions. At pretty much the Avengers has taken over from what Hank Pym did alone, kind of thing. So I don't know. Hank Pym's pretty OP.
Yeah, no, he's that higher level because not only that, he has like the intellect level of Tony Stark.
Yes,
if not higher, but also because of his abilities, he's able to have the strength of say something almost Hulk level, if not more, considering
we can pierce Hulk's skin, which bullets can't do. Yeah. So I don't know. I saw a pretty out there kind of cool crazy theory, but so Hope is dead, we find out, and that's what's motivating Hank Pym to like go on this conquest to like take down Shield and everything about Shield, like the Avengers Initiative. So I saw a little detail that Nick Fury said about to Hank Pym when she died was that he said that she was in a mission in Odessa, which is the same place in Winter Soldier that Black Widow said she was when she got shot by the Winter Soldier. So the Winter Soldier could have killed Hope. And I saw it goes a step further. You know how like in Winter Soldier she like doesn't die to that shot. So maybe the Winter Soldier was actually aiming for her also, like to kill her, because Hydra, who's running SHIELD at this point, knows that will get Hank Pym like to like snap back into things and work on this Pym particle for them and like develop the Yellow Jacket, which is why the Yellow Jacket's now developed by 2011, but it's before like the 2015-16 whenever Ant-Man actually came out, so that expedited the process. So Hydra could have orchestrated the Winter Soldiers to kill Hope, like to get Hank Pym back on their side, because they couldn't do that in the original MCU because Hope wasn't an agent. But the what if I think incident in this episode is Hope is an agent for.
That's exactly what I was going to say. This isn't what if the Avengers died. This is what if Hope was an agent. That was
against
Nexus
Hank
event.
Pym's wishes.
Yeah. And then that butterflies into her dying, and then Hank
butterflies into Loki. It's just crazy, like how much, that butterflies. Like I love how much we're exploring the butterflies. Dang. But yeah,
it's just crazy to think about. At the end of that was what, the end of Wednesday. So now we're on Thursday.
We're on Thursday now.
Thursday we are
at the graveyard.
Yeah, and this is Fury meets up with
Fury and
with
Loki
Pym.
Team up. I kind of liked that. That was
kind of cool.
This whole fight was like, I love that Fury was just going toe to toe with Hank Pym, just like swatting him away.
That first freaking hit where like you're thinking it's Fury, right? So then he's just like bitch slaps the shit out of him. I'm just like, oh my goodness. Dang. And then like you realize it's Loki, but like still you're like,
well, I think I don't know, like it could have been a little bit both.
Maybe that first hit was Nick, and then afterwards it was Loki. I'm down with that.
Yeah, let's just say it was a team effort. Yeah. But yeah, so I like that little fight, and I just loved Michael Douglas's character design. Like he looked just like destroyed, which he would be. Well,
that's
like,
another
if your
thing.
Daughter, like.
Well, it's not only that; it's him using the Pym particles again.
True,
yeah, with his mind.
Right. Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, because they said it's in Ant-Man. Like the more he uses it, like it deteriorates him, and now he like doesn't care. He's like, well, what left do I have to live for? My wife at this point is gone. My daughter's gone. Like he's motivated by vengeance. Like, and it's literally killing him. Like that's crazy.
It's also showing that both like mentally and physically, like because it's only 2011, 2012, and he's already like
way worse than he does in like
older,
2018, which was like the last-ish we saw him. Maybe I guess whenever he was snapped.
So
was the last we saw him. But yeah, then Loki takes over Earth like in a day. Like he just walked into the UN, was like, "Yo, I'm here."
Which is weird to think about that. Like nothing was opposing him. At the same time, he didn't have the help of Thanos this time because he was backed by Asgard.
Well, I guess the Asgardian armies are like. Freaking dope.
We need to go
especially
events.
At this point they're at the height of their because
power.
At this point I think this is right in 2011 when Thor was going to become king, and so like all the 9 realms were kind of like aligned, and like the armies were like okay. I think after that the armies kind of deteriorated because I don't know, Thor 2 something happened there. Thor 2, let's just blame Thor 2 for everything. But yeah, so at the end we see Cap's still alive and Captain Marvel also comes back. So what do you think is going to happen next episode? You were talking about it a bit.
So wait, I'm confused now. Is there another episode called Loki Takes Over Earth? Like
I don't know.
Or was this that episode?
I don't know.
Okay, so I'll have to look that up. Because I know there's a list of all the names already out, but I forget. If there's another episode where Loki takes it, where it like goes down that path, where it's like, what if Loki takes over Earth? It's just going to be a continuation of this universe.
I don't think this list is accurate because, like, according to sources, I'm looking at the list, and the first one's Captain Carter, the second one's T'Challa Star-Lord, but the third one is Loki on Earth, and that really wasn't the case this episode. And episode 4 says Dark Doctor Strange. Episode 5 says Party Thor. Episode 6, etc. I don't want to spoil everything, but...
Well, it's not spoiling. It's already out. So I'm just trying to say...
Well, and also these aren't really spoilers because it's not right, at least.
Yeah, because they're not...
Tony Stark and Killmonger's episode 6. Episode 7, Marvel Zombies. Episode 8, Tony Stark on Sakaar. Oh, that's interesting. And episode 9, Infinite Ultron. So... I'm excited to see where it's going to go. This week has felt like a Marvel overload. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's been a lot going on this week. This is Marvel's busy week.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to see how Wait, did we finish recapping kind of? Or
yeah. On that? Recapping, because we finished with Cap in the ice. And Captain Marvel. Double Cap.
So I think they're going to throw out Cap, and they're going to work with both Caps in this universe.
I don't know when we're going to see Ego.
I'm not saying if we're going to see that in this.
Oh, who's adding to the villain team up? So we have Ego, Squid, and now
Loki.
Pym.
Oh, and Pym.
And maybe Loki, yeah. Okay. Sinister Six, which we will talk about in our trailer breakdown, so check that out. All right. That's all I want to talk about this episode. I feel like it was shorter, but I don't know. I just love the whole murder mystery aspect of it.
Yeah, I feel like that's what added to it, is the murder mystery aspect, and that just made it feel I don't know, quicker. Because you're jumping from one thing to the next, and now this person's dead, now this person's dead, now this person's dead. What is going on?
Yeah. There were a lot of... I just loved also the connections back to, the Hulk in 2008, and then Thor and Iron Man 2. It just felt very nostalgic. Yeah, nostalgia. Yes.
Imagine if we saw this, the start of it with Iron Man dying in live action. There's a bloopers or something. We get Natasha stabbing him, and they just
Yeah.
That would have been great for blue. I can imagine that being a blooper, and they're actually, nah, don't go with that. That's a little bit too much. We just want to make it look like he got healed. And oh, okay.
All right. Are you anything else you want to talk about, or do you want to jump into patron shout-outs?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Cue Epic Star Wars music. Boosh got patron Lori, Frank, Rick, Lisa, Evan, Tony. Thank you so much for listening to the tier. You can see the shout-out if you want to support us over on Patreon. Link is down in the description. You get episodes early, cool perks, and exclusive things. We posted something exclusive with Daniel talking about the multiverse a while ago, and now we're posting reactions to the Shang-Chi trailer and the Eternals trailer over there. Only there. So check that out. We really appreciate it. Also, please feel free to leave a review over on Apple Podcasts. We really appreciate it. It helps out the show a ton. Share with a friend. Feel free to download I don't know. Check out the TikTok, YouTube. Trying to grow this thing to be able to keep doing it because I really like it. So thank you, everyone. That's everything I had. You ready for the outroduction?
Yes, I am.
When?
We just talked about what we want to talk about, and now we're done. Blank.
Thank you so much for listening. We really, really appreciate it. See you next time for something else. We will be back next week for What If Episode 4. Goodbye.
Bye.